Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. I see our friend Susie's here. Thank you for joining us, Susie. Our other friend Susie is here. Thank you, Susie, for joining us. And thanks to our neighbor Susie for the Gatorade last night. That really helped. I've been drinking it last night and today, and I feel better. I've been drinking a lot more today, which has really helped. Although I've got a little bit of a headache today. I think I was working on a few dye sublimation things today, and sometimes the fumes from that are, even though we're in a big open space, sometimes it's just a lot. So I think that's getting to me. So yeah, we'll see how tonight goes. But feeling okay other than that. And I got some things done, so that's good. Angela says, yay, glad to see you. Glad to see you too, Angela. Thanks for joining us. If you're out there, please say hello. I tried to share this far and wide today. I tagged some of my followers and friends on my personal timeline, so we'll see if anybody joins in. It would be great to see some friends that I haven't seen in a while, hanging out with us. That's what these are for. We have to make money, right? We're a business. We do sell things here, but these, we really hope, turn into a place where people can come and just hang out with us and chat with a creative community. And I know it's not the same as our creative make-alongs, because y'all can't see each other necessarily. But you can see the comments. If you're on Facebook, you'll see other Facebook people's comments. If you're on YouTube, you'll see the YouTubers' comments. And it's a great place to meet fellow creative people. So if you do us the favor, please share this on your timelines and let your friends know that this is more than just about selling. It's more than just about beads. It's definitely about creating a community together and hanging out and feeling like you're a part of something. I think with all that's going on in the world, I think everybody is looking to feel like they're a part of something. And if y'all got friends, we trust your decisions on that, to bringing people into the group. And we would love to have other people join us and just kind of get to know more and more people. It is not all about making money for us. That is kind of the thing we have to do just because of what things are. And we are a small business. But we are more interested personally in getting to know people and hanging out with people. Danette is here. Hello, Danette. Susan says, hi, kept dozing through last night's show, kept napping all day. Maybe I can stay awake tonight. Hopefully. What's going on? I've been very tired lately. I think there's a lot going on in the world, and it's making people tired a little bit. I know that's happening to me. Also, I have been running myself a little ragged. Today, I slept in a little bit, which was nice. I tried to anyway. I woke up a few times throughout the morning. And I got up and I fed the cats at one point and took my medications and kind of tried to lay myself back down. And it was kind of one of those things that it felt like it took forever to fall asleep. And then once I did, the alarm went off, right? But I'm feeling pretty okay. I have that headache on like this side. And I was at the cottage doing some dye sublimation work, making some things for some orders. I was getting some orders together. I got a few orders out today, working on more and more and more and more and more. So thank you for all the orders. Started shipping some of the stuff from the Ava show today, so that's good. I will be continuing to work on that and adding that to packages that most of you already have ready to go out. So I won't be shipping that stuff necessarily separately unless you don't have any other orders or you want me to ship it out more quickly than your other stuff. Because it's already kind of packed together. I just have to kind of pack it up. So if you want that specifically faster than anything else, let me know by email. But we otherwise I'm getting it all together and putting it in your boxes. Everybody gets a box. I don't know if you know how that works. I've never really shown how our new process works, but everybody gets a box and I start filling the box. As we get your orders compiled, they get dropped in your box. And then depending on how full the box gets or what the time is, we try to get it shipped out to you. Diane says, yes, I have a lot. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yours are going to be in a big box, but thank you for that. And we all appreciate it. Please do remember that this was a trunk show. So we owe Ava for everything that has been purchased. So if you do still have an outstanding invoice from Ava's show, please try and settle that up as quickly as you can with us so that we can make sure that Ava also gets paid. That's the way the trunk shows work. And she's gone. Normally we have a little bit more time if we hold a trunk show for a little longer, but this was a 2-day show and that was it. So please do try and settle up on anything you can if you have anything out there, and we will be trying to ship things out as quickly as we can to get stuff out there to you. Susan says, a lot going on in the world and the weather keeps going back and forth between summer and fall. You are telling me. I think that's part of my issue too, is the weather. The weather has just been a little ridiculous. Today it was pretty nice, but it was humid today. It only got up, 72 as a high today, which was better than like the 80s or something we were at yesterday. But the humidity, it's 86% humidity out there right now. That's just too much. That's too much. And I just realized, I just like touched my shoulder right here and realized why I have a headache, because it like hurts to touch this. So apparently I slept really wrong, or I did something, because I have a major spasm going on in my neck. Didn't know that was even happening. I've just been so busy that I've not actually like thought about it, but apparently it's so bad that it's giving me a headache. I can tell that's exactly where my headache's coming from. You ever do that? Like go like, oh, oh, there it is. That's the headache point. So that's that. Danette says, I rewatched yesterday's live, and William, you look tired. All that driving and just go, go, go. Yeah, I've been like, it's been busy. It's been very busy. So we are, I got a little bit of rest, but I'm still going to be catching up on some sleep. I tried to go to bed early last night, and that kind of worked. Andrew kept telling me, you got to go to bed. You got to go to bed. You got to go to bed. And I kept saying, I know, and still not doing it. But I just didn't feel settled, like if I'm going to go to bed, not feeling settled, I'm not going to sleep anyway. There's no way just to get myself to sleep. So I might take some, I have like a PM drink, that PM stuff, like I think, I don't know if Tylenol does a PM. Mine is Coricidin PM because it's for people who have heart issues. So I take that because there's something in the Tylenol PM and the other PM, NyQuil PM, that kind of stuff that people with heart issues shouldn't take. So I think it's Coricidin PM, but I take that. Maybe I'll take that tonight and just like knock myself out. And that might help me get to sleep earlier. Let's see. Harry's here. Hello, Harry. Thank you so much for joining us. Danette says, so thankful we got a bit of rain, but need so much more. Yeah, it's been raining on and off all day here, but it's very light rain, which is good. Light rains are good because it allows things to soak in. If we have really heavy downpours, it just runs off. But it's been light and it's been like kind of misty, like it's not like rain. So I know last night it kind of, I heard it outside. So I think it rained a little bit more overnight. The few times I woke up, I could hear the rain. But yeah, we needed the rain here. It's been very dry. Our grass is a little high at the cottage, but I don't want to mow it because if I mow it, it's going to go completely brown. Like it's just that dry. So I don't want to do that to it. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes when you get a little bit of rain like this, it all like starts to shoot up and grow really fast. So we'll see. Norma's here. Hello, Norma. Teresa says, I think I have a lot too. You've got stuff coming. You've got stuff coming. I've been working on, I try to get everybody's bucket kind of sorted first, and I start working one by one to go through and make sure I have everything and I have all the orders, and then that's how I pack them up. Susie says, I took the garbage out before you came on. Yes, so humid. I know, it's terrible. It's so weird. Like, it's not that hot, but it's humid, so it's a little bit miserable. I think. I don't like humidity. But then, because you're kind of humid, it's that wet. I go into the cottage today, and the air wasn't on, but Andrew was there last night. He worked at the cottage most of last night. And he had the air on, and he turned it off before he left earlier this morning. But when I went in, because it was still chilly in there and it was still humid, I got that chill from being wet outside, kind of, plus it was raining, and then going in to the cold. So I have my sweater back here. I've had my sweater on most of the day, which feels so weird. Then I come out of the cottage and it's like, oh, it's just ridiculous a little bit. But the leaves are falling here like crazy. I don't know if we're going to get, some of them are kind of turning colors. Some of them are mostly turning like yellow and brown. To really get those red and oranges that we love to see in the fall, you need like really cool, crisp nights and warmer days. At least that's what I've always been told. And that pushes like whatever sugar production or whatever happens in the trees, when you have the crisp nights and the warm days, it makes those red and oranges really come out. Otherwise, the leaves pretty much turn like kind of brown and yellow, and that's it. And we're seeing a lot of that kind of happening, and they're just falling so fast. Like, some of the trees are bare or are nearly bare already, on my drive between here and the cottage. So fall feels like it's happening when it's still too hot and humid for it to actually be happening. We're losing, I know that the lack of rain has also played a big part in that, but it's sad to kind of not feel like you're enjoying fall leaves and all that fall beauty with fall weather when it still feels like it's too hot for that to all be happening. Norma says, we're having thunderstorms, but it's at least cooler, not up to 90 anymore. That's good. Andrew says, I added the new paintings to my timeline. They're now $40 each. So if y'all were looking for Andrew's paintings, if you missed them the last few times we've been showing them, we showed them last night, and we showed them last night and last week. Andrew added some more last night, and we got pictures of them today. He's still working on a few more. Whether they see the day or not, see the light of day, I think he's planning to release a few more. But he did release them. He just said he released them on his timeline. I was looking for them here and I hadn't seen them yet. So check out his timeline and grab them if you want to. All right. They are now available to see there and grab there. If you've missed them, they are a little bit more expensive than what they were for all of you, but not by much. They were $38. He's releasing them introductory as $40 on his timeline. And then they will go up to, I think it's $52, I believe, if they go into the website. So giving you a few chances to get them at the lower price before they go to the website or go to the shows that we're going to be taking them to. Brooke is here. Hello, Brooke. Thanks for joining us. Danette says, I think we talked about this before, but do you have the Calm app? When I can't sleep, I go to that app and listen to the bedtime stories. It doesn't take long and I'm asleep. Yes, I have the Calm app. And it does work if I am in a kind of semi-relaxed state to begin with. But otherwise, I usually, the thing is, it'll start to put me to sleep, but I'll keep waking up through it. And that's one of those things, like I'll wake up and I'll hear it, and I'll wake up and I'll hear it, and I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up and I'll hear it. If I'm not already kind of in a calm state. So yeah, it does work. I like the Calm app. I use it probably not as much as I should, but I do have it. I do like it. But I also watch YouTube. I do. I'll put on like a 14-minute or 20-minute YouTube video, and usually if I'm in a state that I'm ready for sleep, that'll be enough to take my mind off of my anxiety and let me fall asleep pretty quickly. Kimberly is here. Hello, Kimberly. Oh, comments just jumped. Sorry. Andrew says, not really autumn until the toad lily blooms. I know. I've been watching for the toad lily. I'm like, when's this happening? It's starting to get little, like, the green buds on it. And yeah, we kind of really know it's autumn when the toad lily blooms. But I hate that the trees are losing all their leaves already, and it's not even the weather for that yet. There's so many leaves on the ground already. It's really pretty, but it's just not the right time yet. It's not time that I can be having like a hot cider and looking at the trees and like that whole that mental image of fall. Maybe it's pumpkin spice for some of you, but it's cider for me. But yeah, it's not there yet. It's way too hot for all that yet. Amanda just joined us. Hello, Amanda. Susan says, I fall right asleep and sleep for about 5 to 10 minutes and then wake up and keep waking up all night. I do that often too. And that's annoying. That is annoying. Especially when it's like warm like this. I have a really hard time. I had the air conditioner on in the bedroom last night, and I hate the air conditioner being on all night. I tried to keep the air conditioner like turned up warmer so it wouldn't get too cold, but I was still cold. And so then I put on more covers, and then I start sweating under the covers. And it's just really hard to sleep. And I think that's probably why I didn't sleep well, and probably why my shoulder is really hurting right now. Andrew says, I don't like it when you listen to stuff. Oh, because when I'm ready to go to bed, I'm ready, and I don't like having to try to turn it off. Yeah, I've been trying to listen to shorter stuff so that by the time you come up, it's already off. I've been trying to do that. And I turned off my YouTube continual play, like because it used to be that I would end up listening to things all night long, especially if Andrew didn't come in the room, and I'd watch all these YouTube videos because I had continuous play on, and it's just continuing to play all night long. So I turned that off, and now I try and pick shorter things to listen to. So by the time Andrew gets to bed, if he comes to bed, it's off and done. But it does help me go to sleep. Otherwise, I sit there in my anxiety, and I'm up all night, which is worse. Which is even worse for everybody. Yeah. So how are you all doing? What's going on today? I went to the doctor today. I had my first in-person doctor appointment with my new doctor and got along really well. I like her a lot. And we talked about things, and I have some things to follow up on, and I got to get some blood work done. And I told her that I didn't get any of my testing done that she wanted me to get done before, and that was bad. She's like, nah, it's all right. Because a lot of my stuff has been the same for a long time. But it's time for the big colonoscopy for me. I'm of that age, so I've got to get that scheduled. We talked about options, and they have like the Cologuard stuff and all that stuff that you can do. And she's like, you can do whatever you want. She's like, but really the real deal is the best thing. And so I got to get that scheduled, which I'm not looking forward to. But she recommended the doctor who just like did hers very recently. And she said it was for what it was the best experience she could have asked for. So so I'm at least glad that I'll be going to the person that my doctor goes to for that. So that's good, I guess, if there's a good side to a colonoscopy. Brooke says, insomnia sucks. I use a chamomile tea with a bit of melatonin, a weighted blanket, and a sleep podcast when I remember to charge my headphones. Yeah, when I really get into it, like I've been very lucky lately, knock on wood, that I've been able to fall asleep pretty well recently. I used to have a really hard time with it, and I'm getting better at it. I think I'm trying to like kind of calm down in my evenings a little bit earlier so that I don't start thinking about work and doing a lot of things when I'm trying to go to bed or doing things like that. So I'm trying to get better about it, but I don't take melatonin because it doesn't seem to work very well for me. I do add it sometimes to my tea regimen, but Andrew got us a herbal tea, which it has chamomile in it and whatever else it has, which is really good. And then I like to put in like a licorice tea with that, which I'm out of right now. I got to pick up more, but I like to add a little bit of licorice tea with my nighttime herbal tea. And then I usually take a valerian pill or two. Valerian does help me sleep. And I like valerian because it is something that works for me. So I usually take that. And if I really need to try and get to sleep, I'll do that kind of regimen. I'll have some hot tea, and I'll take my valerian. I'll take my anxiety pill early enough that it has time to kick in before I'm going to sleep. Sometimes I take my medicine right before bed, and that's fine. It lasts longer throughout the night that way, but also sometimes it keeps me awake because I'm not calm enough. So I've been trying to take my anti-anxiety and some of those other pills early enough in the evening that they kick in before I'm going to sleep. And I think that has helped a lot. But yeah, getting the sleepy time stuff going on and kind of getting into the regimen does help. I used to have an eye mask, a nighttime eye mask it was really soft and it went all around your head and it had earphones in it. And then they stopped working. It was just an Amazon cheap thing. And it was so nice because I could actually sleep on my side. Sometimes now I take one AirPod and put it in one of my ears, the ear I'm not laying on. But I find that when I wear them, I was talking with Ava about this because she does the same thing. She puts them in before bed and listens to something for sleep, and then she goes to sleep with them in her ears too. But I find that they hurt too much if I put them in and lay on the pillow with them, even though they're small. So I used to have a nighttime mask. I also use a nighttime mask. Andrew got me one that's just a mask, so I use that now. But I used to have one that had speakers in it, and you could lay on the side, and they were small and they didn't hurt. And I probably should get another one of those because that was really nice. I could listen to things at night and not really have to worry about Andrew hearing them or anybody hearing them but me. And it didn't hurt my ears, and it was a night mask, so it blocked out the light. Let's see here. Teresa said, I did my colonoscopy last week. I used a new doctor and liked the results. That's good. That's good. Glad it worked well. I'm not looking forward to it. I've never done one, but I've heard the prep is terrible, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. And it's also going to be the first kind of thing that I'm going to have since my heart stuff. So that just makes me a little bit nervous anyway. And I got to see what I have to do to get off of my anticoagulant that I'm on, the Eliquis that I'm on before, and how long I have to be off of that before, in case there's anything they have to remove, because they can go in and remove polyps. And that's, it's not a major surgery, but they're cutting you open on the inside, and I don't want to have bleeding on that. So it's all that. Susie says, I had a colonoscopy done last year. That will be the best sleep you have. Yeah, they do put you under, I've been told. Which, okay, I guess that's good. It's a little weird because I haven't been put under for anything in, I think, since I was about 5. I broke my leg when I was like 5, and I don't I I don't know that they put me under for that. When I was a baby, very, very young, not a baby, but when I was like 2 or 3, I got a hernia. Well, I think it was after I was 3 because I think I was talking. Because I remember my mom asking me if it hurt and I could talk to her. I didn't start talking until I was 3. The doctors thought that I was deaf. And my mom kept trying to tell him, no, he's just not ready yet. And when I did start talking, I started talking in complete sentences, she said. So I was just taking it all in, and probably anxiety from the beginning about talking and speaking. But so I remember her asking if it hurt, and I was replying to her. So it was sometime after 3 I had a hernia, and I do remember waking up in the um, operating. It was like more like a crib for me at that time. Like, I don't think it was a bed. It was like it had sides on it. And I remember waking up from being put to sleep for that surgery. Um, but I think that is the only time in my life that I have been put to sleep in a hospital or a doctor's office, or anything like that. So it's weird for me to think about doing that. Maybe I'll like it. Who knows? Norma says, I spent all yesterday finishing a book for book club today. Then I drove up to Lexington, and when I got there, we had a text from the leader that she had completely forgotten and hoped no one had left. Oh, no. So what'd you do? What did you do? Did you go see her anyway and hang out? Andrew says, I haven't made any go the F to sleep tea lately. I know. Andrew used to make a tea for me, and my mom, she liked it too, that he called Go the F to Sleep. And that was the name of the tea that he would make. And he would make some kind of tea concoction that was super good at putting you to sleep. And he's not made that for me lately. I used to have the yellow Tupperware, the big yellow Tupperware bowl that you push the center down in, that has the ridges on the. I think everyone has had one of those. It used to be stored in that bowl, and I would get my Go the F to Sleep tea before bed. And my mom liked that tea too because it knocked her out too when she needed it. Nurses said, I went to the local bookstore instead, so not a ways to drive. That's good. Teresa went to a rheumatologist today. For my Prolia shot for my osteoporosis. I'm glad you got that done and out of the way, right? Got that done, and hopefully it'll start helping you again, and do what it's supposed to do. I don't like going to the doctor. Like, I don't mind going to the doctors. I don't like going to have any type of procedure done. It freaks me out a little bit. If I can go into the doctor and just talk to my doctor and, talk and see what's going on, that's fine. I don't have the weirdness about that. But procedures, because I've had so few of them in my life, I'm not used to them. And I don't want to be, knock on wood, I don't want to be used to them. But like, I had the hernia when I was like 3 or 4. I broke my leg when I was 5 or 6. It was put in a walking cast. And then I had kidney stones when I was 13 or 14. And that is it for my entire history of anything. Like, those 2 of the 3 things were completely before I pretty much have any memory of what happened or how I felt about it. And none of them, I guess my heart is another one. I did have my heart stuff go on, but that was kind of, I guess that was kind of a thing you had to go do. Like, it wasn't like, let's plan for this. So, yeah. Let's see my book club reschedule for next Tuesday, says Norma. Nice. So you'll take another drive, right? Diane says the prep isn't that bad. Okay. We'll see. I've heard horror stories about the prep for colonoscopy. So we'll see. Susie says, I felt so refreshed after the good sleep. Okay, I'm hoping I feel refreshed. I'm not really worried. Like, my anxiety will probably kick in a little bit more about, whether they're going to find anything or not. I'm hoping not. Like, I don't expect them to. I get sometimes anxious about that. Uh, you know, polyps and cancer and all that stuff, but I don't really expect them to. I have it in my mind, like, we're not expecting that, but I'm probably going to be a little bit more worried about that as the time comes, but we'll see. But I'm surprisingly okay and kind of not too worried about that right yet. It's more just about having it done in the prep and having to go into the office and have it done and all that. I don't know. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Thanks for joining us. Sandra also just joined us. Hello, Sandra. Oops. I have Susan Segal says, I have had more surgery than I care to count. Oh no, that's not good. Susan says, from what I remember, having 4 totally out surgeries and 2 twilight anesthesia procedures, I now get an anti-nausea drug. Twilight zone amnesia is a very strange kind of disorienting. I've never heard of that. What is that? Twilight anesthesia? Never heard of that. I have no idea what that is. I've also heard the horror stories where people, they put them out and then they're not actually out. But I'm not going to think about that too hard. Because I know I've been knocked out before, obviously, at least when I was a baby. So it should work on me. Whatever they're going to, it should work. It has worked before. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I went to the doctor today. So that was in the middle of my day. And I took a walk down. So I walked down to my doctor, which is so nice to be able to walk instead of taking a 30-40 minute drive each way to my doctor when I was up in Johnstown for my doctor. So this is nice. They're literally about 4 or 5 blocks away. So I walked down and then I started walking back up and I started reading the thing for the colonoscopy, and I got exactly right to our driveway and realized that on the order for it, they had put that I was not on an anticoagulant. And so I walked back down to let them know that it was wrong on the order. And just to make sure, because I know I can tell them, the doctor, that, but I wanted it hopefully faxed in correctly. So they said they'd check that out and correct it and send it all in. So that's good. And then I came back home and I ate a little bit. And then I took the cats out. That was earlier. I took the cats out earlier today and I went out with them before my doctor's appointment. And because they have not gone out in days and days and days since I've been gone, and they didn't get to go out with me even before that. So it's been a good bit of time for them. So I wanted to take them out, and then they rested really well for a chunk of the day. And what else did I do? Of course, I did packing and shipping, like I said, did some of that today. Did some sorting of things. I had to sort things for orders and got a few packed up and shipped out. I'll drop those off at the post office tomorrow and then go back up and do it all over again. We might do the live early tomorrow. I'll see how Andrew's feeling, if he's watching this or not, because we are I have my pottery class, so I don't know if he's going to do the live tomorrow night or if he'd rather us do it in the afternoon. So I got to kind of plan for that. Either way. Sandra says the prep drinking the stuff is not as bad as it used to be. That I have heard that. I have heard that the stuff isn't as nasty as it used to be. It's all the time you spend in the bathroom. I've heard that. Let's see. You'll be asleep before you know it. I had a colonoscopy and endoscopy. I don't know where the accent is in that, endoscopy, at the same time. Yeah, I am, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? Pretty much everybody does it. And I'm at the age where I'm going to do it. And like I said, they said that I could do the um, Cologuard, and they said that's pretty good. But they said if they find anything this way, it's early enough. Like she said that the polyps start very small and they take a long time generally to get bigger. So when they take them out this way, they're actually eradicating anything that could possibly be cancer, doing it this way. And the Cologuard catches a lot, but doesn't always catch the smaller stuff. So I figured let's just get this done at some point, right? We'll see how long it takes me to actually schedule it. Andrew says it's such a common procedure nowadays. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, I've had so many friends recently because it's my peer group's age group. We're in the age now that all my friends are talking about it and getting it done. Some have had it like last year or a year or two ago, and now it's my turn. Right? Yay. Susie says I had twilight anesthesia when I had my port put in years ago. I've never heard of this. Andrew says, I woke up and looked around the house and couldn't find you, and the cars were in the driveway, so I thought you got raptured. Then I remembered you had a doctor's appointment. Yeah, and my doctor's right down the street now, so I just walked. I took the umbrella, and it was it was okay. The rain had stopped, and it was a little bit humid, but I figured I have not. I did a lot of walking at the show this weekend, back and forth over the booth the whole time. Like, I don't really sit down much at a show because once you sit down, that's it, right? You don't want to get back up. So I pretty much stood for the entire 9 hours of the show, with a little bit of sitting here and there to eat lunch and stuff. But so I did walk a good bit, but I didn't walk distance. I just stood a lot. So I felt like I needed to do some walking. So I walked down to the doctor's today and I walked back. And of course, because when I saw that the wrong order for my to be sent in, I walked back down and back up. So I walked almost 3 miles today, which is a good bit for me. I don't usually get that kind of walking in. I'm usually at the cottage most of the day, sitting at a desk and sitting at my packing table. So between the packing table and my desk, it's about 2 feet. So I do no walking there. So it's really good. It felt good to get out and do a little bit of walking today. Suzanne is here. Hello, Suzanne. Thanks for joining us. Diane said, just remember that anyone who had a bad experience will relish sharing it. You will never hear from those that it was a piece of cake. That's true. That is true. It's like when people have a bad time at a business or a restaurant, they will write the review about it, but they're not always going to write the good reviews about it, right? So that's why when you're reading reviews, you really got to take reviews with a pinch of salt. What do they say? With something of salt, pinch of salt, can't think. Anyway, a grain of salt. That's it. Because people love to talk about the bad things, right? So that's why we try and talk about the good things here, to be a little bit of a change in your day, hopefully, where we're not always just talking about the doom and gloom that's going on, because we could do that. And sometimes we get into some things, right? But it's always nice to try and keep it upbeat. And, some people say that's kind of fake, but I don't think it's being fake. There are enough places where you can talk about the bad things happening. And why is it like, people say that when you talk about just good things, you're being fake about it. But why is it okay to talk about just the bad things all the time? And that's not fake, right? We seem to give more gravity to the bad things sometimes than we do the good things. And we make the bad things the real life situation, and the good things are just kind of like, well, we can't talk about that too much because we got to talk about the real stuff that's happening. Well, the good things are the real things that are happening too. And, that's why on these shows, sometimes I don't mention some comments if things are getting too negative, because sometimes that happens, or I think that there's somebody new and they don't know. and they start talking about just bad thing after bad thing happening, I don't like to go there. We do talk about things and we get serious at times, but also I like to keep this as a more light part of everyone's day. We'll talk about what's going on in our day, and yeah, I'm talking about colonoscopies, and that's not necessarily fun, but I don't think that's actually bad either, right? It's one of those things that that is just it's life, and so we try to keep it more upbeat a little bit, and that's not always. I'm not always upbeat. I'm sure yesterday, I don't know, replayed yesterday. I don't replay my videos generally, but I hope I wasn't too low yesterday, but I know I was having a rough day yesterday, so I was just out of energy completely for the most part. So we do all have our days, but I do try when I'm kind of running the show here, and Andrew does too, generally to keep things upbeat and keep things talking about positive things and what you're doing and the good things you're doing and the things that you're making, and the fun you're having in life. And if you're meeting with friends, like Norma's meeting with her friends to do a book club, that's great news. Like, that's fun, that's good stuff to talk about, and that's real. That's just as real as any bad thing going on. And if we focus, I think, on the good things in our life, it shows us there are good things, and it allows us to know that there are good things. It's important for us to know that there are good things going on, and it shows us that we can continue having good times and good things happen. At least I think so. Susan says, twilight anesthesia induces a sleepy, relaxed state. I didn't remember being out. Okay. Let's see. Susie says, I thought that is tomorrow. What is tomorrow? What am I talking about? What is tomorrow? Let's see here. Oops, boy, I'm far behind in the comments, so I don't even know what it was about. Amanda says, I had surgery this summer, hopefully the last one I'll ever need. I hope so. Sandra says, I will say what helped me the most was using a straw and getting the straw near the back of your throat. Oh, for the prep. Yeah. I've heard it's not so bad nowadays. Anyway, Susan says, I did a colonoscopy the first time and have done Cologuard ever since. You need to do them every 3 years. Yeah, they told me the colonoscopy I should be able to go for 10 to 15 years if I have that done. And then the Cologuard, they said it would be 3 years if I wanted to do that instead. So I'm just like, let's just do the big thing, and let's hopefully not have to do it for another 10 years. Harry says, I had that on the 2nd with a 2-day prep and then full anesthesia, and they cut out 5 precancerous polyps. Took a week for me to get back to normal. Oh boy. I'm hoping it doesn't take a week for me to get back to normal, but that's good to know too. That's good to know too. I'm sure when they cut things out, that's what I'm concerned about, right? Because I'm on blood thinners, and I got to figure that out to make sure when they do, if they have to cut anything out, that it's okay to do that. And then I know that it can cause pain and all that because they're cutting things out from the inside of you. Let's see. Sanders says, word of caution, if you need a colonoscopy, if you have insurance, if you do the thing through the mail and it comes back with needed a colonoscopy, insurance will not pay for it. She scheduled this as routine whatever, as a routine procedure or something like that. So it's not scheduled as a needed thing. It's scheduled as just routine, not checkup, but whatever it is, routine procedure or whatever. Not that it was needed. So hopefully, because she was talking a little bit about that, how it should be covered by insurance, should be fine. Sanders says, so it is better to just do the colonoscopy. Oh, you mean the Cologuard in the mail? If that comes back and you need a colonoscopy, then they won't cover it. Yeah, sometimes for needed things, they don't cover it. But for like routine, just maintenance things, they cover it. It's so weird that the insurance system. I had that with some of my blood work for my heart. Because I had family history of something, and my doctor wanted to check me for it, they weren't going to cover it. If it was just something that they would have been checking for just because, they would have covered it. So yeah, I get that. I had the gastric endoscopy, unpleasant but quick, was groggy, thankfully. Yes, that's good, right? My 2-day prep was easy, said Teresa. The colonoscopy went smoothly. They found one small polyp and removed it. It was negative. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Susan says, it rained where I'm at. That's good news. We're under a moderate drought, so the rain was most welcome. Yeah, we were talking about the rain earlier. It's been raining here off and on all day. All day. Susan says, oh, I was talking to Andrew about the rapture. Oh, yes, the rapture, right? I thought it was supposed to be yesterday, but then I kept seeing things today on Instagram about people still talking about it. So I guess it's tomorrow, right? Something like that. Maybe I won't have to have the colonoscopy then. Pam says you may have to go off the blood thinner as a precaution. I think I will. I think that's usually what they say, but then they also, I don't know, because I know I can't have any kind of surgery on the blood thinner, obviously. I know sometimes they do have stuff that they give you that makes the blood thinner not work as well when you have surgery or have to have like emergency surgery. We were talking about that a little bit yesterday. But I don't know how they're going to do it because I don't know how long I need to be off of it before I have the procedure because I have AFib. So they don't generally want me off of any blood thinners because of that, even though I've not had an irregular heartbeat again, thankfully. So I don't know. I got to talk to them all and figure all that out. I went to my doctor again today and asked them that, and they said that the gastric doctor will tell me about all of that and when to do it and how to do it and all that once I schedule my appointment. Norma says I have to do the colonoscopy every 5 years since they found polyps, even though they're always negative. I guess that's good because they get them when they're small. That's what my doctor said. She said that they get them when they're small and they haven't had a chance to do anything. And it does take a while for them to grow, I guess. It takes a good while for them to grow. So if they do see small things, then they take them out and that eliminates any chance of them turning into anything else, which is good. Diane says, my hubby, who was on blood thinners, had one every 3 years. He grew about 8 polyps every time. Then when done, he had a big steak dinner because he was hungry. Yeah, steak sometimes it does still sound good. I used to love steak. One of my favorite meals was always a steak. Sandra says, I know insurance is just crazy, isn't it? It's important to know if you have insurance. Sounds like in your case, you're good to go. I'm hoping. I know my doctor, obviously my doctor is with the same insurance company that I am because she's a doctor for that insurance company. And she's referring me to the doctor that did hers. So she said it should be fine. So that's good. Harry says, Friday, I'm going to a high school reunion, number 57. Been a long time. That's nice. We're my high school reunion, I guess. What's my next one going to be? The 40th comes up in 2028. Right? Yeah, 2028 will be our 40th. And I think we had one for my 30th, but I think they skipped 35. And we haven't gotten to the point where we're doing them like yearly or anything like that. They're still doing them. They were going to do them every 5 years, but I don't know why we skipped. I'm not quite sure why we skipped 35, but they did. So I think they were talking about doing a 40th at one point. So we'll see. But I've only been to one high school reunion. I think that was my 30th, because that was when we had just started the store, I believe. So that would have probably been the 30th, because I don't think the 25th. No, I hadn't started that yet. So yeah, because this has been like 8 years ago. So yeah, I liked going. I did find it was so weird. Like, I talked to some people, but we went to the high school reunion, and almost everybody kind of sat in the same cliques that they sat in high school. It was so bizarre. Um, so I don't like, it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. Um, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I go to the next one whenever they have it. But I'm glad you're going to yours. I will probably go to mine anytime they have it. Pretty much at this point, because it'd be good to see people again. But I talk with some of them. Like, Facebook keeps us in touch with some of them anyway. But it's nice to see people. I guess you grew up with those people. I went to a very small school, so I knew my entire class. I knew everyone in my class. We weren't all friends with one another, but we knew each other, and um, it's still good to see them every once in a while. Sandra says it's not midnight; it could still happen. The rapture, right? Still could. Harry says the rapture was made up in 1830, not real at all. I know, right? Um, so weird what people believe. Um, ba, ba, ba. Let's see here. I'm saying vitamin K, fresh frozen plasma in an emergency. Yeah, they have, because if you're talking about the coagulants to go against the anticoagulants, there's a list out there that I found at one point that shows you what every anticoagulant is and what the kind of quick remedy that they'll use in the hospital is for each one. Because that came up when my brother was having some issues, and he got put on Eliquis for a while, and then he started having some bleeding issues, and so we were like, what would they put him on if it's an emergency? And we started looking that stuff up. But they have medicines for all of that to try and reverse them as quickly as possible. Anderson, blood thinners are pretty common nowadays, and your doctor will know. Yeah, they definitely will. Everybody's saying have fun, Harry. Vicky says eat clean for a couple days prior and get some suckers or hard candy, easy peasy. Yeah, we don't eat too badly, but yeah, I don't know. We pretty much fast. We do almost a 24-hour fast almost every single day. So if I actually had to cut out food entirely for a day or two, I've done that before. I'm not always the nicest person because sometimes my blood sugar drops, but that might be where the hard candy comes in. But yeah, like we always talk about this. Andrew and I eat pretty much around 11 o'clock or midnight every day, and we don't always eat a lot of food during the day in between. A little bit more and more now, we're trying to eat a little bit more lunch or do something, having a little snack. But we pretty much intermittent fast every single day. And if I had to cut out a meal or two, it would be pretty easy for me to do if I had to do that. Sandra says, I had one that was 8mm and 10mm, and I equate everything to a bead size. I was like, that's big. Yeah, that's kind of, feels like that's kind of big. Sue says, my 45th high school reunion was in August. I hated high school, so glad I didn't go. Oh boy. I had not great times in high school. I was picked on a lot. But I did also have some good friends, and there were people who were nice to me. And so I kind of, I kind of think I will go if it's possible. Um, I guess mine would be my 30th. What am I talking about? Did I say 30th? Mine will be my 30th. Right? 2028. Graduated in 98. That's 30 years. Yeah. 30th will be coming up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Getting way ahead of myself. Susie says, I Googled it 1 to 7 days, but doctor will know. Yes, doctor will know what to do for sure. Pam says, I think most classes sit with their high school friends. Mine does. Your reunion, they do? I just thought it was so weird. I just thought everybody would be kind of grown up now and we just kind of move on and, talk to whoever. But we pretty much sat in our groups and talked to who we used to talk to. So weird. And then there were, there were always people who were kind of like more outcast. I was a little bit like that, but I was in the nerdy group. So, we had more of a group than some people did. And the outcasts, they still came to the reunion and still felt like they had to sit on the outskirts. And, I tried to include some, but it's just such an awkward thing, right? Because you don't really know each other. But, you can try to get to know each other. And so, I don't know, I just thought it was so weird. Norma says, Susan, I never go either. The only person I would want to see, I'm still in contact with. I have no desire to see most of those people. Yeah, like I said, most of the people that I went to school with, I had some people who were bullies to me, and but they, it wasn't everyone. Most people were, okay, or like, we talked in passing if we had to, or, like, and then we had our friends that I'm still in touch with, a lot of mine anyway. But yeah, I don't know, like I always have this idea that you're going to go and it's going to be nice and you're going to get along with people and you're going to realize that everybody has grown and matured and it's going to be a good experience. But I don't know. Maybe that's not the case, but I've only ever had one high school reunion that I've gone to in my life. So I don't know. Who knows? Andrew says, if we had a reunion, I didn't get invited and that's okay. Would be good to see some of them, but we can always see each other normal style and not have to wait for a special event. Yeah. Sue says, Norma, the one friend I would love to have seen passed in 2016. That's sad. Susan Siegel says, I hated high school too. I moved between 9th and 10th grade and it was never comfortable. Oh boy. Pam says, how big was your class? Mine was 29. That's a small class. Mine was 140 some, which is a small class nowadays too. I think we had 148 or something like that in my class. Or maybe 153, 152, somewhere in there. Diane says, you'll need to drink a lot of liquid during the prep. Doctors don't want you to get dehydrated. Thankfully, I already do that for the most part. As long as I can keep drinking the liquid I usually drink. If I have to drink straight water, I'm going to have to buy some water because I only feel like I can drink certain plain water. I'm kind of a little bit picky like that. Vicky said, I only went to my 10-year. I figure that if I cared for any of my classmates, I would have stayed in touch. I was an outcast too. Yeah, I don't think like that because, being in retail, I think is one of those things like sometimes you see people and you realize you have more things in common than you thought, especially at some other point in time. And, I was not a jock. But there were people who were jocks. They were nice to me. We just didn't run in the same circles at all. And, and there were other people that crossed over different lines too. There were goth people that I was not a goth, but they were nice to me. And, we had all these cliques and, you felt like sometimes when you were in high school, you weren't allowed to cross boundaries and cross lines because there's some sort of weird rule about it. And there is sometimes weird social rules about it, right? In high school. but some people were still nice, and I hope that people think that I was nice, and um, that it would be a time, you would hope that a reunion would be a time for people to just get over that old stuff and, maybe get to know each other a little bit. We spent a lot of time with those people. I guess that's what it is. Like, I went to a very small school. I spent, the 13 years, kindergarten through 12th grade, with those people. And while my life has changed so much since then, it's still a long time. And you still kind of wonder what those people are doing sometimes, every once in a while. At least I do. Teresa's joining after a busy day. Thanks for joining in, Teresa. We're talking about a lot of different stuff. Andrew had almost 1,000 people in his graduating class. I was going to say he had a large number in the hundreds. I wasn't sure if it was 1,000 or not. Pam says, always hopeful, right? Norma's class was 750 people. That's a big class too. Diane had 526. Teresa had 70 people in her class. Andrew says, if some of the people you went to high school with are planning to go that I know, I'd skip. LOL. They didn't go last time. So I doubt they would go this time. Andrew says, I think most groups, new or old, have dynamics, right? You get into these groups and people think they've got to be a certain way sometimes. And I just like to talk to anybody, kind of, and hopefully get along with anybody. Or if we don't get along, at least we know we're not getting along because of each other, because of one-on-one, right? Not because the group told us we're not supposed to get along with them. Anyway, let's get to the show. I had like 20 people watching. Now I'm down to like 10. So I've scared everyone away. I've talked too much. And now we're going to start the show of things to show you. I pulled some stuff, and I hope you like it. I have some gemstones. I have some shell. I have some metal. I have some, I'm going to rerun some of the seed beads, not seed beads, like the little ginkgo beads. And what are these ones called? The Arcos beads. I found some of those that we still have a few, so I'm going to run some of those. I have some of Andrew's enamel. We're going to have some of that. That's kind of fall-like that y'all might like and want. So I'm going to run some of those today. And we're just going to take a look at about 40 things tonight. And then I'm going to go down, I guess, and start, unless Andrew already started, I'm going to start cutting up some stuff to make some smoothies tonight. We were going to make smoothies last night, and then we realized that our blender, Andrew had just used it recently to make paper pulp. Andrew makes paper pulp every once in a while, and we wanted to run the blender through the dishwasher to make sure it was really, really clean before we made food in it. So even though I don't think anything in the paper pulp is gonna, it's not gonna, especially after we washed it, it's fine, but it's not gonna be like anything major. But it's always, let's run it through the dishwasher. So it was too late last night, so we ended up making salads instead. I made some salads, and we might have salads and smoothies tonight. We'll see. But I think we're going to at least try to make some smoothies tonight because it still sounds good, and I still want some. So yeah. And then I had potato chips last night because our friend Susie got me some Gatorade and some potato chips. And I still have potato chips last night. And Andrew is trying to be... Sorry, I keep dropping. Andrew's trying to be on a better diet for his gout and stuff, but that doesn't mean I can't have potato chips. So I might have some potato chips. We'll see. I always feel bad doing that, but they're sitting there and they're just going to tempt him if I don't finish them myself, right? And he shouldn't have them. So Susan says, Norma, there are high school people I'm glad I never friended on Facebook. My frenemy was classic mean girl. She accused the reunion organizer of wanting everyone to tell her how wonderful she is. Boy, even mean girling it still today to the reunion organizer. That's wild. Some people don't change, right? Andrew said, just more fiber. You're trying to get more fiber? That's what is that what you're talking about for your diet? There's more than that to this diet that you're doing, right? Vicky says, one of my coworkers brought me a huge bag full of vegetables from her garden. I'll be eating well tonight. Yay. I love that talk. Love that talk. Susan says, some people never change. Oh, and my high school class had about 1,000. Same as Andrew's. You had a big class. Not mine. Is a low class. 140 some, 150 some, something like that. You think I'd remember, but I don't really. And that's okay too. All right, I'm going to flip this camera around, and we're going to take a look at some lots tonight. Hopefully some things you'll like. Somebody will find them interesting and want to grab a few. Keep us in business. And don't forget, Andrew has posted his, let me see if I can find this real quick. Oh, it popped right up. I am going to copy this link into this chat on Facebook, at least. There we go. That's a link to Andrew's Facebook page that you can check out his newest paintings. Now let me flip this camera, if I can. I was having trouble with the camera screen earlier. So hopefully it goes easy. There it is. Good. Okay. Everybody doing okay? I feel like I was talking for so long tonight, but it's still the normal hour. It's like the normal hour that we always do. Let's get our bright light on that gives me even more of a headache, but is necessary. Andrew says, if we didn't clean the paper pulp completely out of the blender. I don't know what he's going to say next. That sounded like an if-then statement, but okay. Let's see. Let's start with these little ginkgos. Let me think of what. Have I used this before? CVB lots we're going to do today. Oh, extra fiber. There it is. Okay. I'm not connecting. Just more fiber if we didn't clean them out of the blender. Okay. Whew. Thank you, Vicky, for explaining that. This is an extra fiber, Andrew, right? Bam, switch to YouTube. Nice. All right, CVB lots tonight. If you'd like to purchase from this video, take down the lot number, put in the subject line of an email, send that email to info@allegorygallery.com. That's all you got to do. If you send us a message or send us an email, you're promising to take it if you get it. And I will invoice after the show. It's that easy, y'all. It's that easy. All right, so these are these ginkgo, check ginkgo, jet, full capri, batik, and let me pull them out here so you can kind of see what they look like. Let me see if I can get the light on this here a little better. There they are. These little ginkgos. You get a tube of these. They are $3 a tube only. Whoa. Used to be $3.50 a tube. As you can see right there, $3 a tube. Now for you all, 2 tubes available. CVB 1. Norma said, Susan and I am Facebook friends with only one person from high school, and I've known her since 1st grade. We were the 2 with glasses and old-fashioned names in elementary school, and we stuck together. Nice. I'm Facebook friends with a lot of people from my high school, but I don't talk with many of them. I only talk with a few. Let's see. These are going to be $3.50 a tube. And I've got many of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like 9 of these ones. I've got a lot of these ones. CVB2. Whoa. Light. Stop. Got too much going on here. And these are these kind of turquoisey. What color are they? Czech ginkgo. Turquoise green matte FL. Capri Gold Batik. They look like that. Super cool. Love that color. Nice color. And you get a whole tube of those. $3.50. They were $4.50, so that's a good deal on those. And there are 9 tubes available. Pam says, my class has Page, but nobody uses it. They, I think, created a group just for the particular reunion, but they didn't actually create a page for the class, which is actually a good idea. They should have probably done that, maybe. But they just created a group, I think, for that particular year's reunion. So, I don't know. I think so, anyway. Next up, $3. These are these little Arcos jet beads. They look like that. They have the 3 holes, and you get the tube of the jet beads. They're $3 a tube. There's only 1 tube available in the black. 1 available. CVB 3. $3. 3 tubes available. CVB 4 are going to be the Ginkgos, opaque, light red. Is it Rembrandt? What's these? See, these are great for fall. Great fall color on those. So ginkgo leaves. And that's CVB4, $3 only for the tube. They used to be $4 for the tube, so I think that's a good price. And there's only 3 tubes of those available. CVB5. Kind of just going to do all of these tubes and then we'll move on to something else. These kind of done. There are 4 of these. They are $3 each. CVB5. And these are the Ginkgo Turquoise Picasso. They look like this. Beautiful turquoise with Picasso. And you get the whole tube of those. $3 for the tube. Oh, we've sold CVB3, that single black. Thank you so much. That is now sold out. Seal has been broken. Now everybody can buy. Go crazy, y'all. No, these are very specific. I totally get that. Totally get that. We've sold one of the 5s. Thank you so much. We still have 3 of them available. These are $3.50. I've only got the one available of these, CVB6. These are the Arcos in this beautiful purple, then what they call it, pastel Bordeaux. It's like a purple luster. Pastel Bordeaux. 1 tube of these available, $3.50. And that's it. That's all we've got. One of those. CVB7 coming up. Ooh, $3.50. Only one of these available. Let's move these down a little bit. That color is sweet, says Pam, isn't it? I love that purple. I also love this one coming up. This is another one of these lustery ones. They call them the pastels. Pastel Aqua. Look at that. Pastel Aqua. So pretty. So that is available. Only one of those. CVB7. Sorry, I almost took out the stand here. CVB7. And I think, unless I find more later, that's all I've got left in those. That's it. That's it, my friends. Let's move on to something else. How about these? I'm going to show these. These are Andrew's creations. Our friend Anne recently worked with these. Let me put these away first. I'm going to put away the ones. Make sure I don't have any more of these somewhere. I just have those 2 right now. CVB1, putting that away. Put away CVB2. I've got 9 of those available. Lots of those. That's a good color. I don't know why. I don't know why we have so many of those. But all right, let me move these down a little bit. Keep them out for a little while. Isn't it weird when you think about it? We used to not keep things on the table. We used to just always right away show one thing and then put it away. Isn't that weird now to think about? We've been doing it this way for so long now. All right, CVB8 and CVB9. These are $68 each. These are creations from Andrew. They're enamel, and I think it was Anne who did something with hers recently. So these beautiful enameled pieces. He has the little beads enameled down in there, so you can see the kind of, hopefully you can see that, these are kind of rainbow beads that he placed in the enamel and sunk down in, along with all the other colors. There's a little bit of gold in there. And then he created these really cool, I think, bails or prong settings for these, which is really different. It's not something like we've seen before, I think. And he created this really cool setting. I just thought these were really great for autumn. Norma says it's so much better leaving things out to look at, to consider for a while. Yeah, I think so. I don't know why we never did it before. I don't know why we didn't, but we didn't. Oh, here is what Anne did with hers. I did have a picture of it. So this is what she used, and she put it on with some tourmaline and some gold spacers, and it looks really good. So I wanted to show these again because we have 2 of them left in stock. Norma says that piece is so beautiful, right? And so this is the other one that we have left of these. And these are silver. This is silver. This bale, this prong setting that he's created is done in silver. So it is a silver, and then you get the beautiful enamel piece that he's done. And these are all signed and dated by Andrew. And so we have these 2 available. Susan says, I love that pendant. There are only 2 available. CVB8 and CVB9, $68, which is a really good price. Y'all, Andrew priced these really low. I think they should be like double that price between the silver and the work that he did to create each of these prong settings and just the pendants themselves. But he didn't. It's like a half price sale, y'all. So $68 each, CVB8 and CVB9. For those of you who may have missed those or not seen them before or couldn't get them before but maybe want them now, I figured I'd re-show them to you all. Put this one away. And Anne did such a good job on that piece. It makes me want to work with makes me want to work with these, actually. To be 100% honest, I want to steal one for myself, but we'll see. We'll see. I really like these. Are some of my favorite. I like the odd pieces, and these are just such an interesting design in the setting that he created on these. Like, you don't see that anywhere else, and it's really cool. And I think it's just such a, I don't know. I might end up keeping one for myself if they don't sell. I don't really have a lot of Andrew's stuff, believe it or not. I don't keep a lot because we try and sell as much as we can. So, I don't have a lot of his things. So I think it'd be pretty cool. Oh, we just sold CVB 9. So 9 is sold. Thank you so much. That's this one. It is now gone. So we have CVB8 still available if anybody's interested. That's the one that has a little bit more of the orangey color to it. Are you getting an orange iPhone? Maybe you want to accessorize. That's what I keep thinking about because that's what I'm getting. I think I convinced Ava to get one too. I think she did that trade-in deal that they're offering because she didn't know about it, and I was talking about it, and I think she ended up looking to get one too. And I figured, since I was pulling some of Andrew's enamel, I pulled a few other pieces. I never actually took pictures of these to get them in the online store. They're just kind of sitting, which is really terrible. We just, there's only so much time that we've got and so much daylight. I like to take pictures of things in the daylight for the most part. So I found some pears that we were selling by the pair. They're $20 a pair. And I thought some of these would be really great for fall or going into winter. So here are these. These are pairs of enamel by Andrew. And let me give you I'll try and give you a kind of sizing on these. These are approximately 22.7 millimeters. They're all going to be a little bit different because Andrew, as you can see, they're all hand cut. He hand cuts each of these so that they're not cookie cutter. Like, he could cut them out of like discs. He could make discs, but he doesn't. He hand cuts each one first so that it starts out even that way, being a little bit special, a little bit more special than just using a disc. And he cuts them out of a copper that's much thinner than we can normally purchase discs in. And that way these are super duper light. Like, these are barely there. No one is going to have an issue with these as earrings, for example. And then the next one is that I love these. Oh, this is such, if I had my ears pierced, I'd love these for earrings. Just look how bright and beautiful. Great for the trees changing colors right now, the seasonal changes. These are great autumn, great pair for autumn. CVB 11. And then CVB 12 coming up. I pulled these ones. Thought these were really fun. It's not a color combo you see very often, the blue and yellow. And I don't know if there are any, I know there probably are sports teams that are blue and yellow. Anybody follow any sports teams that would be blue and yellow that they would like? I think that's really cool. That's a big thing here to accessorize for going to the football games and baseball games. I don't know enough about sports to know, but I'm sure something is blue and yellow. And let's see, what else did I pick out here? Oh, I did another one of these. I didn't even realize that. So there's another one. I guess I thought they were going to be popular. So there's another one. Oh, my screen just went to night shift. Let's turn off night shift. There we go. The Chargers are blue and yellow. Okay. Anybody Chargers fans? So there's another one of these kind of orangey, limey, almost lime yellow. Like it's a cross between green and yellow. It's really pretty. And then CVB 14. We're going to move into some of the pendants. And the pendants, these pendants, $32. Now these have some of the background detail as like some of these, like with the starting of that. And he built so much more on top of these ones. And with all that extra work, they're only, you know, you can see the difference. It's not much. What, $36 difference for the silver and the extra, the gold in there and the little rainbow beads. That's why these, I said, these are a really good deal. But these are 32 and super nice and thin, beautiful pendants. They would go really well, like these would go really well together if you wanted to make a set. I need to get these photographed and get them into the online store. Let's see here. We have CVB 15, which will be this one. And let me actually put these away. This is CVB 6. The Pastel Bordeaux Arcos, $3.50, still available. And CVB 7 is the Pastel Aqua, still available, just one of each of those. How's everybody doing out there? You okay? Everybody doing okay? I'm going to move 8 over here. We'll keep all the kind of enamels together for now. See that? Sure we can still see that. Okay. CVB 16. Suzanne's got her eye on the weather for tomorrow. What's happening there for tomorrow, Suzanne? Here's CVB 16. This is kind of a unique design with the kind of rusty reds and the blues, but a little bit of green and yellow. Kind of like that hint of really beautiful blue right there. Thunderstorms. Oh boy. Let's see, I've got one more of these to show you. CVB 17. Let's do it this way. Make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. There's another one of these, like this one. Less of the yellow in there, more of the green, blue, and the red. Whoops. Whoa, throwing them around. And these are generally, let's see, these are about 34.5 by 38.5. This one's a little bit smaller. It's about 33 by 35.5. All right, and that I think is the enamel I pulled for tonight. I think. We'll see if I find any more that moved around in the bag. CVB 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. They look really good sitting there together, I think. Next up. Let's see, how many of these do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of these. 9 of these. I dropped them on the floor. Okay, these are $1 each. I've got 10 of them. Suzanne says, lovely. These are little metal spacer beads or separator beads or whatever you want to call them. But they're these granulated silver colored beads. They've got a larger hole. They're about 2.5 millimeter holes, it looks like. The beads themselves are about 6.5 millimeters. And you get, for the $1, you get 6 beads. And we've got 10 lots of those. I think those are really nice. CVB 18. All right, let me put away some of this enamel. Okay. Reorganizing a little bit. CVB 19. We got here next. This was 28. I'm going to bring it down to 20 for you. And we've got 2 of these available. Thought we were just doing 1, that's why I was bringing it down, but well, it's okay. This is dyed chalcedony. Beautiful bright pink dyed chalcedony, faceted beads. Beautiful color in those. They like glow. Look at those. So pretty. And I don't know where my ruler, there's my ruler. This is approximately a 10-inch strand. And these beads are about 12 millimeters. CVB 19, $20. 2 of those strands available. This is the other one. This one's slightly bit lighter, maybe. If you want the lighter strand, you can let me know if you prefer the lighter one. I don't know that they're really that different. Yeah, a little bit. You want the lighter pink one as opposed to the darker one. Whoops. You can request whichever one you want if you care. And they've got tassels, so you know they're good, right? The dyed chalcedony can be very expensive, the vintage stuff. Trying to do a good price on them for y'all. Put more of these away. Love these note takers on those. Those are really pretty. Okay. I think I have some bigger stuff coming up. That's why I'm going to clear this up a little bit more. These over here. This over here. All right. CVB 20. We have this large, wow, that's bigger than I thought. Large strand of a jasper. Kind of jasper sticks, drops. Really good for fall. I was in a fall mood. You can see some of the pink, maybe not so much, but but I was in a fall mood, so I picked out a lot of things kind of, I think, that kind of are fallish. And this was just such a beautiful autumn color. And I thought it was just such a cool strand. Look at that one right there. That one on there. Look at that. Super cool. I thought bringing the price down to $20 for this, the lowest we've ever done on that one. CVB 20. $20. See, we had 14 on this. Let's drop it down to 10. Drop it down to 10. This is a bag of bones. Literally. Bone beads. And you get these. You get 4 of those, and then the rest of these, you get these bone tubes. Nice, pretty large hole. Bone tubes. That's 4 of these beads. They're approximately 13.2 millimeters. The hole size is almost 5 millimeters. So nice big holes in those. And then you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 of the tubes. Oh, we just sold 20. Thank you so much. Let me take that away. And I was thinking of this bone because Suzanne was talking about how nicely the bone might go with the mink beads that we had yesterday. And that got me to thinking. I really liked that idea. So I started pulling out the bone beads. And those came first. And then I have these. CVB22. I had these at 28. I'll bring them down to 24. There's one strand of these available, and these are the dyed bone. And really cool beads. These are approximately, let's say, about 12 millimeters long by about 8 millimeters wide. You get the whole strand of the dyed bone for only $24. Nice long strand too. Let's see, this is about a 22 to 23 inch strand, about a 23-inch strand. So just about $1 an inch, which is good price. CVB 22. Let me curl this up a little bit better. All right, let's make some room here. Okay, nobody grabbing these? These little metal spacer beads? They're nice. Okay, CVB 18, put those away. 10 of those still available. Only $1 each. I'll move this up here. Move this over here. Move that over there. I could count and write the right thing down. That would be helpful, right? This is a vintage check glass strand. Was 12. I only have the one left. I think there's only one in here. Yeah, I'm going to take it down. Vintage check glass. Take it down to $10 for you for the last one that's left. These are about 7.5 millimeters. CVB 23, $10 only. One of those available. Beautiful blue and silver navy. Beautiful strand. CVB 23. Oh, I hear some fur baby trying to get in the room with me. All right, CVB 24. You know, every once in a while we get some really pretty garnets. And we've got these little kind of diamond shaped garnets. This beautiful kind of berry red, deep color. There are 2 of these strands available. They were 18 a strand. Nice quality garnets for their size. And we're bringing them down to 14 for you all. 2 of them available. They are approximately about 5 by 7 millimeters. And I think these, like, I love garnets with bone, like that combination. I love, especially this color, I think works really well together. It's really fun. CVB 24, $14 each. 2 available. Norma says, may I see 23 up close? I missed it. Yeah. Here you go. Vintage check glass. Beautiful strand. 1 left, so we brought it down to $10. Okay. Next, we have pink tourmaline, microfaceted rounds. Pink tourmaline, microfaceted rounds. CVB 25. Really, really pretty. For those of you who like the small stuff, these are really excellent quality stones of just pink tourmaline. Just the pink tourmaline. Which is, it's kind of rare, I think, to find just strands of pink tourmaline, especially in this size. These are about 2.5 millimeters, 2.6 millimeters. I've got the 2 strands available, really pretty pink. These would go really well with the garnets. If you wanted to put something together, a nice little bracelet getting ready for Valentine's Day. I know that's way too early, right? Maybe Christmas, right? Put some green in there. Put some emeralds or something, right? Some peridot before we get into Valentine's Day. But look how pretty those are together. Super nice. CVB 25 for the pink tourmaline. I guess I was also on a pink kick. Look at me getting a lot of pink red stuff going. Not quite sure what happened there, but seem to be getting the same kind of thing going. Okay, I'm going to put the bone lot away. It's only $10 for all of those. These would make fantastic earrings, by the way. If you want a long drop earring, they're super light, natural material. You could even put, you know, if you wanted to make like a hoop earring, but you don't want quite a hoop, you could even put something like this together to make an earring out of those. I think that could be really cool. And you could play around with whatever you would do with drops or nothing. Just do something like that. I think that'd be really cool. Different ways you could use things, right? I always like to play around and think of what I can think of. I'm sure all of you have other ideas on things too. You've always got good ideas. Who's still out there with me tonight? You hanging out? Having fun? I feel like there's an odd vibe in the air tonight. Are you all feeling that? You all feeling a little odd vibe in the air? Not necessarily from you all, but just in general. I don't know why I'm feeling that tonight. Or does it feel like a normal night to you? Kimberly's here. Susan's here. Thank y'all for being here. All right, I pulled this. This is Green Appetite. Talk about some green. We had this at 36. This is from the store. I'm going to drop it real low. $30. $30 for y'all. Oh, we just sold one of the 25s. Thank you so much. Oh, it says, oops, not cubes. I read the number as cubes. I know my V's are getting more and more U-like. They're supposed to be CVB, but we'll see. Suzanne's still here. Susan says, yes, there is a very odd vibe going on. I feel like it. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's something odd happening. Maybe we're all just manifesting good things. Maybe that's what it is. But this is Green Appetite Pebbles. They were $36, dropping them down to $30 for you all. Look at how beautiful these are. And talk about if you wanted to do like this. I mean, that's your typical like watermelon tourmaline colors, right? With the pink tourmaline, but not a green. But then also add in maybe some of the garnets. And look how pretty. Like, let's twist this up a little bit. Let's pretend we beaded this up and then made it into like a bracelet or something, right? Like, I think that is so pretty together. What do you think? You like that? Like that look? I don't know. I like that look. Okay, let me put these away. Before I get them all mixed up, I forget which ones are which. Okay. So maybe the odd vibe is the rapture. Maybe, Susan. Who knows? Pam says, it's a weird night. Both of my dogs are on the recliner with me. One is sleeping. Has never happened before. 2 French bulldogs. That's cute. My mom has a Frenchie too. But yeah, isn't that weird that that's like I'm sensing something and they are doing something they've never done before? Like, how weird is that? Bizarre. Susie says, yes, there's lots of weird vibes lately. Susie says, that's beautiful. I think so. I like this combo going on. Maybe for the next creative make-along, I might have to do something with those. We'll see if I remember that. And if that's still my mood for the next one. This is a jade strand. We had it at 14. I'm going to drop it all the way down to 12. And it's these beautiful rectangles, these kind of rounded rectangles. And they're flat, kind of flattish, as you can see. They are about 13.7 by 18. Oh no. Susie says YouTube isn't working for me tonight. And I think Pam was just saying that Facebook wasn't working for her tonight. I think that's our numbers are really kind of low tonight, and I'm guessing that might be why, because they started out high, and then people seem to be having problems with various places. So hey, can't win them all, right? We're just going to have fun hanging out with who can be here, and we appreciate all of your support for those of you who can grab something tonight, and we'll just make a night of it together, right? Weird vibes and all, right? Taking a drink, everybody. One moment. Okay. Let's see. Make room for one more thing. We were talking about, I was out taking pictures today of some of the fall kind of flowers. You know, a lot of people will call them weeds, but weeds is it's just another name for a flower that some people don't like, right? Let's see. What do I want to do on this one? This one was 24. I'm going to drop it down to 18. But there's there's a lot of goldenrod out right now, and it looks beautiful in the fields. Like when I'm doing a lot of driving lately, I'm driving at hours when the sun is starting to set, and it's like casting this golden light over the goldenrods in the fields, and it looks so pretty. And I was taking some pictures of our yard. We have some goldenrod in the yard with some other, like the echinacea that has kind of come and gone. And you still have the big kind of seed centers left. They're really like dark black and kind of beautiful, I think, with, I think, asters. Asters maybe? I don't know. Andrew knows plants better than me. But let me see if I can show you, if it'll let me add a picture here. This is these are drops of rose quartz, obviously. And let me see here. Oh, there we go. And here's a picture. See if it'll upload that or not. Sometimes it gets very sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I just thought it was so pretty. And I was wondering if any of you out there, we were talking about toad lilies earlier and how they kind of tell us that it's fall. Here it is. There's a picture I took. Isn't it pretty? I just think that's so pretty together. And I love seeing that in the fall. I love those kind of quote unquote weeds. But they're not, they're just beautiful flowers. But does anybody else have any favorite flowers or fall time things? I love these drops too. Look at these. Beautiful rose quartz, $18. They are approximately, sorry, I've been showing them a long time because I was talking about the flowers too. About 11 millimeters by about 5.5, we'll say. 5.7 it says. One strand available. Rose quartz was $24. Bring it down to $18. All right, I'm going to put 23 away. That's still available. That's this one. What are some of your favorite fall flowers, everybody? Let me know. Let me know. Or what are some of your favorite fall traditions? What do you all like to do? My family always, so I grew up in the middle, my house growing up was in the middle of, we were in the middle of 3 or 4 fields. There were fields around us, and those fields were not manicured in any way. Most of the time they were completely overgrown with quote unquote weeds. And those kind of things like the ironweed, is it ironweed? And the goldenrod, they just were all over. And I think that's why I like them so much, because they remind me of growing up there. And it was always so pretty, and it smelled so good in the fall, before I had allergies to all this stuff. But I always remember my family would do the cleanup days where we'd take all the sticks out of the yard and the leaves, and we'd rake everything up. And then we would have these big bonfires in the driveway, and we would sit you would get it. There would be that chill in the air. We were by a lake, so it sounds very fancy, but our house was not very fancy. But it was good. I liked it. But we would sit and kind of warm up by the fire as the chill came over the water. It was always like probably 5 to 10 degrees difference in our yard versus just up our driveway a little bit. You could feel the air change as it went from being on the lake to not. And we would sit by the fire and just kind of warm up with our jackets or sweatshirts on and kind of hang out and just have a good time. This is Hyperstein. This is one large Hyperstein pendant. We had this at $30. I'm going to bring it down to $24. This is such a beautiful example. I should really not reduce the price on this. But look at it shining and flashing. That is a flash that it has. Hyperstein, one large pendant. This is kind of an obscenely good price for that. Kimberly says, wow, that is amazing, isn't it? Pam says, I like mums. Mums are really nice, right? You don't see them, they come out in the fall. It's kind of a marker that you know that it's fall. This is about 39 millimeters, we'll say, by 50. Hyperstein, one available. I really, like I said, should never bring it down this low because that is an amazing price for an amazing, amazing stone. But one time only, bring it down for you all, $24. I have some people in the store who really love Hyperstein. They come in every once in a while. So if it doesn't sell here tonight, there's a few things like this needs to go back to the store if it doesn't sell tonight. This needs to go back or go to the store if it doesn't sell tonight. Because that is just an amazing, like, look at that. It's so beautiful. Like, you see Hyperstein stones now, and usually they have like one line of flash through them. This is like the whole thing. The whole thing is just flashing away. And it's almost purple. Like, it's just, it's so pretty. And like, that could be really beautiful with a rose quartz like that. It would be really beautiful if you had some more tourmaline. Like, this is a little small probably for this, but that pink tourmaline, look at that color with that. I mean, it's like a gray. Any color is going to look great, I think, with that. All right, next up, what can I do on these? These were 60. And that was low. But I'm going to go 45. I've got two of them for y'all. This is CVB 30. And these are saucers in various stones. So they start out with some amethyst, and then you have some smoky quartz, and then they go into rose quartz, a little more amethyst. Then we go into some citrine, and then some garnet. And then this is clear quartz, and then garnet, and it goes back up the line. So this is the full strand. Beautiful saucer beads. And these are about, I'll say 8 millimeters, 7.8, about 8 millimeters. And you get a bunch of different ones. Let me try and get you, if I can get in here. They are just about 3 millimeters thick or high, whatever you want to call them. But look how pretty. I love these strands. 2 strands available. I think these are 16-inch strands, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take my ruler Yes, they're 16-inch strands. Nice long strands, nice quality stones. 2 strands there available. And CVB 30. Let me put back the pink tourmaline. We've still got one of those left. We did sell one. Thank you, thank you. Anybody do any kind of gardening around lately? Getting ready for fall? Do you change your gardens out for fall or do anything like that? Put this one away too, I think. Is gardening almost over for most people? I was walking by a house today on my way to my doctor's appointment, and they had a bunch of raised beds, and they still had a bunch of, it looked like a bunch of things still growing. But I know it's coming to the end of the line for some things, especially. A lot of tomatoes are starting to, they had some tomatoes in theirs, but they were starting to wilt and starting to fall over. Susan's starting to prep for fall and winter. Andrew said, I wanted to weed stuff at the cottage, but it was raining. Oh, it cut off your comment. I couldn't see it. Andrew said, I'd love to put some more bulbs in, right? Yeah, it'd be nice, but you can't be going around doing that stuff right now. Get yourself all worked up again. Susan says, we're still getting peppers and tomatoes. Nice. I feel like those are the 2 plants that you can really, if you're going to get a crop, you can sometimes really get a crop with those, right? All right. These are vintage, and I think these are antique check. And there are 2 strands available. These are really big strands, so I'm going to give you a good price, $12 on these. Let's see here. Pam says, I live in a condo complex, no gardening here. I miss raising flowers. Do you do anything in your house? Any house plants? Diana says it's time for second season planting here in Florida. What does that? What is second season planting there? What kind of things do you plant there? Look at these. I think these are antique check glass strands. Really pretty. Again, me and my fall vibes going on here. These are really, look how long these strands are. They are, oh, let's get it the right way. That's a 16-inch glass strand, y'all. 16-inch glass strand. CVB 31, only $12. Normally we sell like this maybe for $6 or $8 in the store. So you've got like 3 of those on here. Should be like $18 at least. But 12 bucks if anybody wants them. Great fall colors. They would pair really well like with the bone we had earlier. Like these. Pair really well with those. Kind of very samey colors if you like that kind of thing. Different materials. Andrew says we should restring these strands, right? See, he's like, these need to be restrung and sold at the correct price. I pulled this. I needed to check the size on this. So this is a 13-inch strand. Let's do this for $12. These are vintage pearls. Vintage freshwater pearls. About a 13-inch strand. This kind of goldeny color. Again, this kind of fall harvest color. Just $12 for the strand because they've got good color to them, and they've got some of that multicolor going on, but they're not all the same on the strand. Like I think our strand yesterday was like $16 because they were very similar, and that was a low price, but they're very similar. These are just kind of some pearls, right? they're not all the same. They're very close to the same length, but they're very different shapes. So that can be fun to play with. Only $12 for the strand, CVB 32. Diane says it's greens, tomatoes, cucumbers, potatoes, peas, beans, etc. Nice. That's so like that growing season. I feel like for some of that stuff for us, like I feel like the beans and peas, it seems like it's so short because it gets too hot here after a while. I guess you're going into the cooler season now, so that makes sense. It feels like our season is sometimes very, very short for all that stuff. So it's nice you kind of get two growing seasons. I never thought about that in the warmer climates. That makes complete sense though. We just sold this strand. Thank you so much. Susan says, my house is new and the ground is a lot of clay. So I'm getting ready to mulch an area for winter to build up some soil so I can plant flowers in the spring. Nice. Where I grew up, we had a lot of clay as well because we had the lake around there, and clay is a good material for that. And I think there's just a lot of clay. So we tried to build some kind of raised beds for stuff, but we never had much of a garden. One, we didn't have a lot of time. My mom mostly supporting the household and stuff. She wanted a garden a lot, but she never really got a chance to have one or have time for one. And it was really hard to keep anything growing there, unfortunately. Andrew says, I sold some pearl earrings this past weekend. Nice. Suzanne says, I just made a necklace with African glass, onyx leaf, and a wooden cicada. Ooh, I can't wait to see that. Andrew says, do you have a template for earring cards for the cricket? I was thinking of making some earrings for the weekend. I had one earring card. I think I stopped paying for the subscription for the cricket thing though, and that's where I got a lot of the free templates. Andrew said chip drop is great, inexpensive mulch. Yeah, if you have a chip drop by you, if they do that, that's where we got some of our mulch, and you get a lot of it for pretty much just a delivery charge, which is like, what is it, like $25 or something around here? We just sold one of the 31s. Thank you so much. I found another one of Andrew's enamel pendants that I wanted to show you, but this one's different, so it's okay to show you separate from the others. Yeah, it's we have, if you look up chip drop, if you've got one near you, you can get really inexpensive mulch. So it's really nice. And let me see here. This one is this one. It's got that cat on there in the gold foil. And I know somebody just made something with one of Andrew's pendants like this with one of the cats, and I can't remember who did it. Are you out there? I'm trying to remember. Maybe Andrew remembers too if the person is not watching. But they used one of Andrew's cat pendants. And I figured this is a great kind of Halloween coloring, this kind of purpley black, a little bit of red in there with the cat. That would be fun. So that is, Andrew said, Anne made a necklace during the make-along. That's right, during the make-along. So that is one of those, $32 for the enamel pendant, CVB 33. Andrew says, I want to make stud earring. Oh, make studs. Nice. Susan says, one of my community members is an arborist and he supplies us with lots of mulch. Oh, that's good then. You got the in already. You don't need no chip drop, right? All right. I have these bone pendants, and these are carved bone pendants. They're a dyed bone pendant, and these are $6 each. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 of these available. 6 of these available, carved bone pendants. Super nice and light. They would go really well with the CVB22, for example, if you wanted to go kind of matchy-matchy. Get back here to the video so I can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, what do I have here? Where's the bag for that? I know I had a particular bag for that. This one. Put the rose quartz away. That's still available. CVB28. Those drops, really kind of glowy kind of drops. Get in there. Okay. And I'm going to put this away. The Hyperstein. Still nobody grabbed it. Well, that's okay because I'm going to keep that one for the store then. Or myself. I love that stone. It's one of my favorite stones. Andrew says, I wonder if people move houses here. So, seems like in Florida they did it all the time. My parents had a brick house moved. I was thinking it'd be nice to move a small house to the cottage. You can buy a building for like $20K, which is way less than building new. I don't know. I have to research that a lot for sure. Well, we sold one of the CVB 34s. Thank you so much. We have 5 of those still available. We had some horn yesterday. Whoops. And I've got a little bit more today. Where did you go? Well, I'll find. Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and an extra. We're going to do that for $8. $8 for all of that horn. That's a really good deal. That's less than 50 cents a piece. And these are about 11 by 35. Diane says moving costs are quite high. Andrew says, I think my parents paid $40K, but that was a long time ago. Yes, it was, right? Oh, somebody grabbed 29. What was 29? Oh, that was the Hyperstein. Somebody grabbed that. Thank you so much. I guess. I was reconsidering selling that one, but that's okay. That's all right. I appreciate it. We appreciate it a lot. Thank you. I'm going to put CVB 30 away. That's these beautiful, beautiful stones. Andrew says the church was expanding, so they were going to tear down the house. So instead, they sold it to my parents for $1. $1 is great if that's all you have. Then you have the moving costs, but you're still going to be charged less than the whole house, right? Or pay less than you would for the whole house. Now, what did I do with the bag for that? I'm losing my bags. I'm going to put these away. We've sold one of these. We still have one left. Diane says if you want to keep it, it would be fine. That's okay. That's all right. I'm here to sell. I wouldn't put it up if I wasn't here to sell stuff. But I appreciate that. We're trying to make money for the buyout. You know how it is. Got to do my part. Let's see here. Move this down. It's a lot of horn right there. And I love this shape. I love this shape. Okay. CVB 36. I'm stumped on what this stone is. Okay, let's put that away for a second. Andrew says if the buyout goes well, then we'll have stuff to sell for the Italy trip. One feeds into the other, right? I have this antique bronze piece designed by Bob Burkett. And we're going to price that at $20. It's these dragonflies. Antiqued bronze. Designed by Bob Burkett. Beautiful piece. I love the warmth of this antiquing they've got on there. Beautiful color. Goes well with a lot of these things, whether you're pairing it with a bone or the horn. Or even like the jade from earlier. Like that would be really pretty together. Look at it with like these, look at it with these pearls. So if you have pearls, if you like that, look at that together. That's it right there. Ooh, I love that. Andrew says that looks, I think, good with the horn, right? Like imagine, okay, so take the pearls, take some horn, take that, and look at that together. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nice. I like that combo right there. I like that combo a lot. All right, let me put these away because they already sold. The pearls are sold. Thank you again for grabbing those. Andrew says maybe even the pink tourmaline. Pink tourmaline. Let's see. What's it look like? What do y'all think? You like that? Maybe add some horn in there to kind of mix those together a little bit more. What do y'all think of that? Still have one strand of the pink tourmaline available too. Oh, we just sold 36. The pendant has sold. Thank you, thank you. So that is sold. Let me put that away. CVB 37. We had these at 16, bring them down to 14. Let's bring it down to 12. One strand left of these. And this is, I think, the rose-colored copper with the tourmaline. Okay. It always freaks me out. My computer at one point in the evening changes from light colors to dark colors. You have your computers do that? And it always makes me think the computer's like dying out. These are these beautiful green shell beads. Hollow, beautiful. They've got so much vibrant color and beautiful patterns in them. I love these dots. They all have, can you see the dots going down the edge? Like right, dot, 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 dot. Like, look, those are naturally formed. Like, isn't that so amazing? Like, what, how does that happen? Like, what in the world? But these are beautiful green shells. They are super light. I have one strand left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 beads on the strand. And that's about 23.5 millimeters by 35 millimeter beads. Nice hollow shells, super light. I think I made some earrings in the store with these actually. And I think they sold really quickly. And so $12 for the whole strand. One strand available. That's it. CVB 38 coming up. I had these at 6. I'll drop them down to 5. Can't go too low on these. Diane says those are abalone shells. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Abalone shells. I think they're so pretty. I didn't know what they were, but they are amazingly pretty. Look, oh, so pretty. And then these are CVB 38. These are just these large metal spacers, and they have some weight to them. So if you're looking for something like you need some weight in a design, maybe to keep your necklace from twisting around, and you want to add some weight to the front with some gold color, these are 10 millimeter, nice kind of heavy metal beads. I've got 2 strands of those available. 2, 4, 6, 8 beads on the strand. $5 now per strand. Oh, we just sold 37. Thank you so much. The abalone shell. Thank you. Thank you. Let me put that away. Let me find the bag because that's going to need the big bag that it came in. And what did I do with the big bag that it came in? Huh. There it is. CVB 39. CVB 39 are, let's see what we say. These are a dyed mother of pearl bead, is what they say. These are vintage. dyed mother of pearl. They're dyed this beautiful gray color. Look how rich those beads are. They look so pretty. That gray color. And I love this shape, these squares. They just keep going and going. Look at them all. Beautiful strand. $16. These are approximately 24 and a half. Let me see. Yeah, about 24 and a half, 25 millimeters, somewhere in there. Look at them with these, for example, though. Like, look how it brings the colors out to match them up with that kind of warm horn color. But it's a dyed vintage mother of pearl strand. You get 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, wait. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 beads on that strand. That's 8 wonderful pairs of earrings if you wanted to do that. Really pretty. CVB 39. And CVB 40. Let's see. We'll do these at $3. Got 5 strands of these. Are these check glass kind of paddle drop beads in this kind of gunmetal color. These are kind of these shorty strands. These are very hard to measure, but I'm going to try for you. If I can, I'm going to take it off camera to try to measure it for you. About 7 millimeters by about 5. 7 by 5 millimeters. Shorty strands, but only $3 for the check glass, vintage check. I think these are vintage. And I've got 5 of those strands available. $3 a strand. And that, friends, is the show for today. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check out Facebook. Andrew posted his paintings to his timeline. And so if you missed any of those, please do check them out. If you didn't miss them, please consider sharing Andrew's post with your friends to let people know that he has some beautiful paintings up for sale. I don't know if he's sold any yet or not. I haven't had a chance to look. Look at my camera. I decided to wait till the end at least to do the flip-flopping. Okay, there we go. All right, everybody. So thank you again for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the support, all the love, all the friendship, and the good chat times too. So thank you for hanging out and talking with us and chatting with us every day. We really do appreciate it. Oh, we just sold 39. That's this one. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you back here tomorrow, either tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll see you back here sometime tomorrow. All right. Have a great one, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye, everybody.